Okay, I will introduce it. So, um, there is a man out there, there's a prominent figure. His name is Shawn Bolz. Um, he is known for, like we just talked about, the gift of prophecy. All right, he's known and he's associated with Bethel Church. Bethel Church, and I believe the one that he was out of is in California. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
Erica.
Yeah.
All right, so he's
Well,
out of
that's the one that's the church that platformed him.
right. Okay, got you. So that's the one where he's most associated with. He's got to get the prophecy. Um, it is alleged recently that Bowles was doing exactly what Faye was talking about and cold reading. Now, if you don't know what cold reading is, this is what the psychics and the mediums used to do back in the day when the internet was a new thing. They would have you come in to their place, and then they would have a second person research you on the internet. So like they would research you and they could find your social media, your spouse's name, your kid's name, your address, where you work, all that type of stuff. And then when she would or he would just bring it up in conversation, you thinking, oh my gosh, this person they must be on it, right? So but it was really just it was just a two-man con, so reason I bring that up is that it is alleged that Shawn was using this type of methodology in his prophecy while he was ministering and whatnot. Now where the controversy the controversy comes in is it is alleged that Bethel knew of his methods for some years and they said nothing about it up until it got public, and then that's when Bethel pretty much did the oh my gosh, we're so sorry, oh my gosh, we are so heartbroken, and we
Sorry, guys.
well we just don't know what to say, we just don't know. Oh
Sorry,
my gosh,
guys.
what, oh my gosh. So this is what they did, and so this is where we're at now. So we have Shawn, who has been doing the two-man con, and then we have Bethel, who was turning a blind eye to it for some years. Now, Erica, the floor is yours.
So the gentleman, Mr. Bowles, was the pastor of the church that I attended, my family and I, upon moving to LA, I should say the second church. And so what happened? And so he transitioned just as we were coming in, but he was a very prominent figure. We weren't coming to that church actually when we first got here. We were going to a different church, but we had a lot of his books. And so we were like, we're going to go down there and have him to sign our books that we had purchased from him. And when we got there, they were like, "Oh, yeah, he's transitioned. He's not really the pastor anymore because he's such an itinerant, prophet. He transitioned out, and now they have new pastors." It was like, "Okay." And so like, but he's still around, but he's not here today. I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So we stayed for worship. We stayed whatever. I'm like, I actually like the church itself, and I mean, we weren't thinking of coming here, so we were like, praying about it, decided to come there. We really love the church. Church is still there, fine, everything's fine. He transitioned away from that role. I so it's very personal because everybody is coming out with statements. In 2020, he had prophesied that our current president was going to get a second consecutive term. Okay. So when he was not elected in 2020, though this person, Mr. Bowles, said that, and he also went on CNN to say it, when it didn't happen, our leadership asked that he would come and that he would apologize essentially for that. So he did, and people began coming out at that time. This is in 2020. So people began coming out around that time saying, hey, he is, and he didn't have a two-man. Allegedly, there's no two-man, it's just him that would just
Mhm.
uh it was said that he received a prophetic upgrade, where he was able to get names and addresses, things like that. But it just so happens that the upgrade came around the time when you were able to search events with hashtags. And so if you registered for an event, then and you click the hashtag, it would take you to your page, and then you could know things about people. And so anyway, it came out then, and I was at the time the children's pastor at that church. And so people in ministry were made aware of this. Bethel, who they're like, why are they in there? Well, they platformed him. In fact, they were the first people to introduce him as one of the most trusted prophets of our time. And it was to a room of thousands of people, and of course, an extended network of millions. And from there, he began to operate and prophesy. Well, when this came out, a lot of the pastors very quietly removed his books from their shelves, and they, you know, stopped inviting him to speak. But the trouble was, they did not inform their congregations. So when this happens, someone can just go on and just start a new thing or operate, solo, and no one's none the wiser. Everyone thinks like, oh, this is the guy that's been endorsed by, whatever. So the most recent like kind of dagger for a lot of the what do you call that person? A lot of for the it also came out and was alleged by several people that he was doing some strange sexual things um
Mm.
that were making
Strange.
his staff uncomfortable. And
Mm.
so that came out, and they say some people from Bethel and other people in the ministry say they went and were able to, there was a case put together against him. And they were able to find some, what do you call that? Find it to be credible. Okay.
Evidence.
Yes, and so found it to be credible, and so that happened, after 2020, and by this time, people in leadership were aware. Here's where Bethel people are saying they need to be held accountable is that in 2023 he's promoting a book, and the pastor of Bethel, the senior pastor of Bethel, says he was on his way to TBN, but he didn't know why he was going until he got there. He was scheduled to be at TBN, but he didn't know why until he got there. And it turns out he was there to endorse Shawn Bolz. And it was just only a month or so after he had spoken to one of the victims of Shawn Bolz, and encouraged them, and told them how sorry he was and all that. And then when he came on TBN and they asked him, what do you think of Shawn Bolz's book? He said, I love it. And more than that, when you know the life behind the book, it makes it easier to endorse. This was after all of that came out. So people were just really heartbroken. And what happened was, I think people are used to people coming out, on social media, just being messy. But the person who did the exposing is someone who is a born again believer. And that person actually did the biblical model, went to the man personally, went to the church that platformed them, went to everybody. Like, I don't want to put this out. I think you guys should come out with it. I think that you guys should come out with your findings and, be honest and tell believers what's going on. And the reason why it's not being done in the private churches is because this is a global platform. So this is where you preach. This is where it should be done. They all refuse to do that for whatever reason. People have different reasons why they didn't want to do it. And so he put out a video a couple weeks ago that was nearly 6 hours long. And people accused him of trying to get paid from it, but he made sure not to monetize it at all. And he said that what he wants them to do is to come out and make a statement, and say, let the other people that are in this man's classes right now, that are buying books from him right now, that are trusting your word over him right now, let them know you no longer trust them. Haven't trusted them since 2020. and they shouldn't either. So they were against this. They literally came out with a kind of a rude statement, like, whatever, we need to protect our brother, and you guys have sin in your life, that kind of thing. And then it got so bad because it wasn't just external people, it was people that were alumni of that church, that ministry, that school, that were like, we know what has happened, we all know, so you should come out. So they came out and said what they're guilty of is just having a big heart, and that they were aware,
That took a left
but
turn.
they
That
wanted
took
to
a left
make
turn.
sure that he was, covered, but that they're very sorry, and that they're going to put some things in place now. And they said it's just really hard for them to, expose a brother when, he's a good person. And I think that that's where people are really angry and taking issue, because this particular ministry is known for being really hard in terms of purity culture, really hard. And so people in the pew, they get sat down all the time. They get exposed and embarrassed all the time. So this idea that now you're just so kind-hearted that you just can't bring yourself to expose, when the Bible says, when you're dealing with elders and leaders, that it should be exposed publicly, outwardly, so that people won't be defrauded in this way. And so I have gotten lots of calls and texts and all that, and it's been really heavy. And I don't know how to explain this, but you feel guilty for some, I felt guilty for some reason. Like maybe there's something I should have known or seen while I was in leadership there. But I just think um yeah, they just do just has been covered. And what people are saying is this is a rabbit hole. People who went to school there, go to church there, like church there, they're like, there's lots and lots of things, lots and lots of people who have come forward with things many times and not been given weight to. And I want to say the reason why it's important for us to discuss it here is because I think that people have in their minds that, oh, we have all of this trauma in Black churches. I'm going to go to a mixed race church. I'm going to go to a white church. They never ask you for money. It just looks different. They just, it just looks different. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna say that it
Nice.
just looks very different. It's the
Nice.
same thing. It just looks very different. And I would just say there's no cheat code for getting around having to hold people accountable, or having to pray and get to know people, or having to take a stand against something. There's no cheat code. It don't matter the type of church you go to. It just matters what protections and what integrity is in that house. And so people are really hurting behind this because they were still 2025 in a class. I mean, he just up and said, I'm taking a sabbatical because the climate is so negative. But he had people that paid lots of money. They're being trained by him in the prophetic. And the
Yeah, I
people who
wonder why the
platformed
climate is
him.
negative now.
Yeah, right. What are you talking
we
about?
going we
Um,
there is so much to unpack from what you just said, E. But
yeah,
before we start, because it was so close to you, I just
yeah.
want to like say like kudos to you, because
Mm,
like it's very very easy for some, like if it's close to you, just be like, hey yo, I'm too close to the situation. I don't need to be saying nothing.
mm,
But I don't think that any I do think that the people closest have the biggest responsibility in terms
sure,
of navigating the healing that's supposed to take place from these
sure,
things. Like, of
sure.
course, the infractions are not godly; they're not anything like that. But
Mm,
there is like you can find God in the situation, and it comes
yeah.
from the people that are closest to the situation. So kudos
Mm,
to you for
mm,
actually, saying something and be like, hey, like this is my perspective. And the response, like, I'm unburdening the guilt of that I should have known something, because that could have ate you up too. Just be like, hey
yeah.
yo, because I was so close to it, I should have known something, I should have seen something.
Yeah, it's
And
been
it ain't like
happening.
that all the
It
time.
happened a couple weeks ago, Lee, and thanks for saying that. Yeah, like I woke up a couple days crying, and I think I felt, before the guilt came, I was angry, and then I felt sad because there were times, one thing that Tony and I have not been. I know in St. Louis we weren't on social media at all, and then we moved to LA. We waited a while, and then people were like, "How are we supposed to know what's going on with y'all?" So we got on social media, but we were like minimalist, like we never put anything on there. And so I got really hurt about how I'd be in the room and like everybody's getting a word, but not us. So I kind of thought back to that time and how I kind of secretly indicted the Lord, like, how come we're not getting words? Everybody's getting words. You know, is it race? Is
Because
it
you
this? Is
can't
it that?
search your own
And
Facebook.
right, you said it. And so for me, I cried about that because I was like, here, I was not believing at the time, not believing the best about my heavenly Father because of this stuff. And then I felt guilty because I'm like, I'm there, and you know, should we have known something? Should we have, um, and then now seeing people who like even attend my current church that are like, yeah, like we're in a class right now and we're really hurting. Can you help bring clarity? And I'm like, oh, and so it's a hurtful thing. It's and I and people are taking a lot of issue with the host church because they made a statement and they came out basically saying like, we know him, and we think a lot of these accusations are exaggerated, and it that hurt people a lot. That it just felt like we need to protect our, he's one of us. We're praying for him and his family too. Like, it's just people were so busy, like we should protect a brother, but it's not at the expense of the flock. Y'all say y'all shepherds. I
Mhm.
Nobody's gonna be like, well, I mean, yeah, he's our brother. Yes, that's true. Very, very true. And the Bible says when you deal with him properly, you're saving a brother. But the idea of
Mhm.
just you remove harm from yourself, you make sure that you're not affected. Oh, we don't want his books in our stores. Oh, he can't speak here anymore. But no one else knows who's going to cover him. Well, that makes them think he's still safe. Last they heard from you, he's safe. And they're saying, like, Bethel
Yeah.
kind of has a culture of platforming people like this that have been found to be um, doing some kind of weird things behind the scenes and that they're aware, but they want to, cover. And so, yeah, um, this cover up culture thing is being exposed, and it's like a joy there, but it's kind of hurtful. So,
All right, let's talk. Let's turn the rope because I know I had the same reaction that Faye had when you said something.
mhm.
So I want Faye to kind of verbalize what she was
Yeah, yeah,
feeling
yeah,
in that moment.
sure.
Faye, you had an outward
You
reaction.
did to
Um, yeah,
their
talk.
response. Yeah, like
Yeah, talk to me.
we have a good heart, like it's just our heart's so big, and I'm like,
And
okay,
I so I'm familiar with the name Bethel, but this guy I don't know, and so all of this is news to me. I never
okay,
heard this story, and
yeah,
so as someone who is new to this, um, my my shock is in the fact that it can be presented as if our love for him is to cover, but you're leaving these people uncovered.
yeah,
And if the Bible says open rebuke is better than secret love, why are we not openly doing that? And the
mm,
Bible has so many scriptures about God's displeasure with false prophets. It's so
sure,
many scriptures that align with correction. And instead of
yes,
correcting, we're covering. And it's
mm,
just it makes me wonder, if they're covering, what is the motivation behind it? Is it simply
sure,
because you love him? Because it's like if I love you, I'm gonna correct you. Like even God says, those that I love, I chasten. And
sure,
so
sure, sure,
if a part of loving is correcting, why are we just that's a I don't understand it. My mind cannot wrap around that. That we would gather around the one and leave those exposed, except to think that the motive is very selfishly driven. That
sure.
we don't want the backlash. We don't want
Because you
the
guys know how to do it.
supporters.
This idea that you don't know how to do it is wild to me. You know exactly how. One thing churches know how to do is sit people down, but you have to ask yourself,
Yes.
is it too much of a cost to you? And so you don't want to do that because it implicates you, or it stops you from, because they're coming and doing this stuff in your houses. You get an offering, and you get these things. People trust you. So is it that you feel guilty that you were behind, and it may call into question your, you know you saying they're the most trusted prophetic voice or one of the most trusted prophetic voices of our time. Yeah, you got to eat that. So it's kind of like, are you, but yeah, it's, I'm going to say overall, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy that it's, we just love him so much. He's such a nice guy. Because
that reminds me of a coworker I used to have. Okay,
mm-hmm,
now I don't work with this coworker anymore, but this coworker I used to have,
mm-hmm.
it can be said conservatively that everybody hated this person. Now, why did everybody hate this person? Everybody hate this person is because when they were blatantly wrong, right? They would find a way in their sentences to make it seem like the reason they were wrong is because they was right. So here's how it sounded. Here's how it sounded. It's like, hey yo, he's like, hey yo, you didn't take the trash out. You didn't take the trash out last night. That was part of your duties. What's going on? Like, why didn't you take the trash out? You supposed to take trash out.
Sure.
Okay. You know what? You're right. I am so sorry that I care about this job so much that I had to do this and do that, and the trash couldn't take it out because I was giving my all and doing all this type of stuff. It would take you all around Walk Diddy just to give a whole non-apology that ain't got nothing to do with nothing and saying like, hey yo, the trash still didn't get taken out. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yes.
With this, it's just like we just have we're sorry we have a big heart. Like that irks me.
Yeah.
That irks me. If you ain't gonna apologize, if you ain't gonna apologize, then stand 10 toes down on it. Don't give me no fake apology. Don't give me no fake apology. Hey, look, just stand on and be like, hey yo,
the senior,
I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. That's what you should say. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I did what I did. I'm standing 10 toes down in my mess.
Let me say one of the quotes. It says, the first part's a paraphrase, the second half's a quote. He says, now real quick before we get into the senior pastor let one of the associate pastors get up first. So the associate pastor gets up first for like an hour. And he's crying and he's apologizing. And I'm so sorry. And we're so busy trying we're so busy trying to protect this guy that the sheep, and he's just really broken. And then when the senior pastor gets up, he says real cool, like, I'm largely, part of the reason why the exposure didn't come sooner. It's because I have this thing where I believe the best about people and I don't apologize for it because it's a good quality to have.
Boy,
real quick. Hey, real like, quick.
Tomato. Like,
what? Like, what are you talking about? And so it's like, yeah, I mean, it's a good quality to have. I don't apologize for it, but I neglect it, and it's important. And these people are not 25, 30. These are men that have been leading movements. They are in their 70s. They are in their 80s. The idea that you're saying, I just realized that we should think about victims. Today? You just realized that today? What? Like, what are you saying? Like, yes, the victims, like, and people were, when he would do this apology, you had people in the comment section saying, good for them. We should celebrate them. You guys just want to find something negative. Hey, if somebody apologizes, it's for the parents too. Hey, let them sit in that dock for a little bit. You rushing to pat them on the back when these victims, they are real people. Yeah. They have like stuff going on. And so this idea that hurry up and forgive. Oh, you shouldn't be holding unforgiveness. Yo, they acted like it didn't happen for 5-6 years straight. And there are records that
forgiveness is not on anybody else's timeline.
And even then, it's just like, yeah, we forgive, but I hate how people make it seem like forgiveness means that you're absolved of the consequence.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can forgive you, but you still have to face this. Yeah. And so I can't get with it.
If I rob a bank, okay, bank and I do my time, guess who not gonna hire me? A bank. Like, this is the reality that we live in.
Like,
though.
are we
This is the
gonna
reality.
exactly?
People think, like, I don't know what crazy world people live in. They think that they can get a job, like, or keep a job and still have influence over the same people that they have marginalized or abused or any type of infraction, in terms of, like, there is some type of there's some type of wrongdoing here. Guess what? We can forgive you doesn't mean you get to keep the job, boo. It don't mean.
No.
And this is exactly what the Bible said, talked about with Saul, right?
Yes.
Saul was the people's king, right? But he got fired on his day off. Why? Okay, like, if God gives it to you, it is up to him to maintain it, which is why, like, my heart grieves at these pastors and leaders that stand on these platforms, like, every week, not knowing that God has fired you already. Like, he's already fired you, and people are coming. People coming to your building doesn't mean that you're still the sent man for the job. And for you to have such a lack of awareness, you can't read the room anymore. You can't even read the room anymore. Still over these people. You've been fired. There is no way that God gives authority to you to care for people whom you seem to have no love for. There's no way. And if so, like, if you are, then you are completely out of alignment with what God has for you. If you are a pastor, that is your assignment. You are to care for these people. It is his people, not your own. So you can't do the whole song and dance of, well, we just care about this person so much. No. That ain't your job, boy.
What are you talking about?
It's not your job.
And what gets me is sometimes, especially because y'all know people have a heart for their pastors, their spiritual leaders, all of that. People will be more likely to move on if you just face what you did, take full accountability.
That's what the gentleman who did the video said. You're correct. He said, you'd be so surprised how much grace is there when you just take responsibility for what has happened. When you come forward and say, this is the situation. But I think, I think this idea of covering, I just don't. I don't understand it.
And it's,
don't love me like that.
It's a false covering too.
It is. It's not a real covering.
If it's really about covering, like, no, you saving your reputation. That's just what it is. And
that's what they say. The other thing is when they do this thing, guys, where they say, don't worry about it. They're walking. What's the phrase? They're under the covering of XYZ. They're doing a restoration plan. Who's walking alongside and restoring the victims? Like, y'all. Okay, here's the thing. You may ask yourself, a culture is built. So you may say to yourself, how did someone do this? They can say, hey, is there someone in here? Your name is Erica. Yeah, okay. And you live on, I don't know, I'm seeing a street and it has Weeping Willow. Oh my gosh, I live on Weeping Willow, whatever. So when you hear it outside of its context, you're like, oh my goodness, duh, like, why aren't you thinking? But when you're in a room full of thousands of people and you've never met this person, it's your first time coming, you're not thinking about any of that. And the person gives all this specific information. And now you're like, okay, there must be a word for me. Everybody's going through something, right? And then the key, if we were able to think, is that if God's going to take time to let you know, I know everything about you. I know your first, middle, last name, your birthday, your street address. I know who you're dating. But then when it's time to get the word, it's, God's going to bless you. Well, it's like God took all that time to be specific just to be vague. If I take my next breath, he's blessed me. Let's just be clear. So I'm like, that makes no sense. But in the context, you're like, oh my goodness. So that kind of stuff could be like, oh, I may not have liked it, but it didn't really hurt me too bad because all he said was God was going to bless me. But it was times where this gentleman has one of the women that came forward, she talked about how she was dating a guy and they were newly dating. and her name is, she said her name, so it's out. Her name is Jubilee. And so she's dating a guy, and this prophet, the gentleman, says, I'm looking for such and such, let's say his name is Larry, whatever. He gets up, yeah, you're this, your birthday, whatever, cool. And then he goes, I just feel like God is saying he's giving you your Jubilee. Okay. And so
That's so messed up.
and so she's sitting there and she's like, oh my goodness, like, and he's like, yeah, he's giving you your Jubilee. And the whole room's going nuts because everybody know Jubilee and oh boy, they dating. Well, she married him because she thought it was God, married him right away. And this man, according to her documentation, her community, everything, abused her terribly. And she kept staying because she thought, if I leave, I'm out of God's will. It was such a specific word. But the last thing he did was he choked her, kind of within an inch of her life. And so she had to get out of there. And then when this stuff came out, she started talking to people like, have you heard about whatever? And she said people in her family were like, well, what have you heard? Yeah, we heard that, but we just figured. She was like, you heard it, like, oh, we didn't think it would help you. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, there are people that and outside you're thinking this is crazy, but it happens. People that have cleared out their 401k for certain projects and moved to the city because he would say, like, God is saying you should move to here, and all of that. And these are people that are wealthy, and they know. And so
I don't want to move from Jubilee though. I don't want to move from Jubilee.
Oh,
I don't
okay, yeah.
I want to talk about Jubilee. Fonzo,
And
you said
and
yeah,
I
that's a
know
specific thing.
And I know there's a responsibility to this. I get that, but yes, because the thing is,
I got you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alfonso.
Alfonso, go on.
You had a
reaction.
Verbal response, like people, like these people. What about these people?
Yeah, we want to hear
about what she just said.
Yeah, about what she just said.
I'm just like,
you're not on screen right now, too.
Yeah, I know, and there's a reason for that.
We really want to see you, Fonzo.
Yeah, we want to see the.
Okay.
We want to see you, bro.
Yeah, we do.
Well, hold on, cause give me a second.
Yeah, man. Everybody.
And while he's preparing, wait a minute. While he's preparing, one thing that he said, and I also want to provide, is context. So some people know Bethel from music. Some people know Bethel from their conferences, but Bethel is also a massive school of ministry. And there are kids that grow up in that culture, and they are trained to believe the word of the prophets and you will prosper, to this or that. So it's not like they're online just, oh, I'm chasing a sign and a wonder. They trust their pastor. So if the pastor says this is one of the most trusted voices, and that most trusted voice knows your name, tells the dude you seeing God is giving you Jubilee. If you're outside of the culture, you're thinking, girl, this is a scam. You should see them out coming. But if you grow up in that culture and you are trained to trust the word of your pastor, who is endorsing this man, and he's traveling, and he's like, millions of people are hearing his prophecies, then you're like, this is God. He knows my name, my address, who I'm dating, my number, I was just asking God, should I date this guy? Now, we talked about the responsibility of testing and trying every word, but if there's no protection in that atmosphere, what are we really saying? What is the plan? So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
my response was to the notion that, well, not even notion, but there's this pressure that a lot of people face. I feel like it's been seen more, prominently in women. But when you marry into something for something like that, and then you feel this pressure to deal with junk throughout the marriage to try and sustain it. Like if you marry somebody and dude putting hands on you and he abusing you, baby, it's time to leave.
That like, but Zoe, that teaching is very new. It used to be, and most people still haven't gotten it. It used to be, if he ain't cheating on you, you need to try and make it work. Pastors have just recently, I'll say maybe in the last 5 to 10 years, have just started saying, if he's putting hands and feet on you, you need to go. They didn't used to say that. They did not used to. They would say, oh, separate for a time. Let's get him mentored and discipled. They would try all that. it wasn't like right away, oh, if he fighting you, you need to go. That's new. They weren't saying that.
I was just a part of a ministry that taught that.
Hold on, the second one or the first one?
Be
About
careful.
the abuse that.
Okay,
that,
all right.
I was a part of a ministry that taught that, you know, infidelity is
That's the only way
grounds for
out.
divorce. But if it's physical abuse, separate for a season. The man will get the man out of the house, and y'all go through counseling. It wasn't ended. There are still people being ingrained with
right now,
and that's not okay.
What
in
are we
in what
doing?
world? In what world is it biblical or of God to encourage someone to be in a marriage where you are getting your face beat in?
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand that. You got a big heart protecting this prophet that's been lying for all these years, but you can't protect this lady that's getting her face knocked out.
That, and they say, what, wait. So they being nice. They say, just separate. Let us walk with him a little bit. Let us teach him some anger management, and you pray for him so God can deliver him, and then God gonna bring y'all back together. And in my mind, the next statement is so he can finish you off. Because what is this?
Again, to me, this is just the scenario that I just said.
Mm-hmm.
You rob a bank.
Yep.
You can do your time. We can forgive you. You can actually be an upstanding citizen to society. But guess where you will not get a job? At the bank that you rob. You try again, like if you as and I'm talking about, this is just women and men. If you do somebody dirty and just say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I apologize and think that, "Oh, well, everything's good since I said sorry," like, what world do you live in? It's not this. It's not this world. That's not the world we live in. If you mess over a girl, she does not have to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, she don't have to be with you. You can be sorry all you want to do, all you want, but that doesn't mean that specific girl that you messed over has to be with you. So now the whole world is your girl. You mess up. You goof. And now you want to sit right back in the same seat that you was when you goof. No, it don't work like that, partner. Like,
it's crazy.
I don't get it. You ain't gonna.
But we only get weird about this, y'all. I mean, when I say we, it's rhetorical. In the church, everywhere else, we totally get it. I remember, just listen to people in the comment section. You guys don't know, and there should be grace. Let this person. You finna edit this, or what you doing, so?
I ain't editing nothing.
You saying he ain't editing nothing, bro.
Okay.
Do what you gonna do, partner, because I ain't editing nothing.
It's so many of them. I don't even have to be specific. It's so many of them, specifically at the house we just talking about in Bethel. Let them assault one of your daughters or sons. Let them do it. Then tell me how confused you are about where the accountability should be. I just don't understand why you're so confused about accountability. But what if it was one of yours? Can't that help you kind of tap into, like, bruh, my kid, my youth went on a ministry trip with a dude, and dude exposed himself to when I come back, I don't want to hear nothing about no covering. He wasn't covered. He naked in the hotel room with your kid. And you want to talk about covering. You only saying that because it's not you. How could you? Think. And I just
application of grace is what
it is.
Yes,
But when it's called for, they can't find it nowhere.
Yeah, but it's just like, as much as we have a God who is full of grace and mercy, he's also full of justice. He believes in justice.
He tells us love mercy. Love mercy, but do justice. You may not love having to do it justly. You may not love that part. It hurts. It sucks. But you have to do it. You have to do it. You may not fall in love with justice, but you got to do it. You can love mercy, you have to do justice. You can't have people out here doing victimizing folks and doing all kind of weird stuff in the name. But my thing is, I get mad that I'm not gonna get this time back either, because y'all know that. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. You know these things. You just don't want to know it when it's affecting you personally, and that is selfish. If you're telling me I don't know what I'm get mad all you want. Okay, let me take it up further. I feel like, yes, deal with old boy who did the stuff, but the dudes who was in charge who said we just got good hearts, sit down. Sit them down.
Yes.
I don't care how cool they are. I don't care how nice they are. I don't care. You know why? Not to be punitive, not because I want to punish you, but because if you look me in my face and say, I'm a shepherd, but I don't know what to do when I catch a sheep, when I catch a wolf, go. I catch a wolf in here and I don't know what to leave. That's what you do. I don't want you in here. You don't. Oh, if a wolf come in here, I don't know what to do. I mean, I like furry animals. Leave. Go.
Yeah.
You are 80.
That ain't
You
your
don't have
job.
another 80 years to learn how to protect the sheep. Go.